Greetings, all! Today, we'll be examining the exceptionally rare Fire-type Pokemon Litten, its equally rare evolution Torracat, the two collectively known as the Fire Cat Pokémon, and its final, equally rare Fire-Dark-type evolution Incineroar, the Heel Pokémon. Though they might not come off initially as any different from most feline creatures, the members of the Litten family are potent beasts that can make radical changes in evolution into a tool for rendering the opposition off guard when they least expect it.
Litten have standard quadrupedal feline bodies, with black fur covering most of their form, including their three-toed feet, with a long black tail that ends in a tuft of fur and red stripes that cover their lower legs. Their head has black ears with dark gray interiors, two sprigs of red fur in the cheeks covering the mandible along with a red, crosshatch-like marking on the forehead, further featuring red eyes and yellow sclera. The evolved form Torracat have a similar body form as Litten, with red fur dominating their appearance, with black stripes on the limbs and tail, as well as a black back with more crosshatch-like markings on red fur there. They feature black claws on their front feet, a large crest on the center of their face, a cute pink nose, and a yellow ball-like growth in their neck that acts as their combustion organ. Their final evolution, Incineroar, have a much more human-like bipedal body, with the same striped color motif, but with a flaming belt at their waist that holds their combustion organs, as well as a black barbed stripe at the end of their tail, and a grey torso with black crosshatch-like markings on their front and back. Their hands now have 5 digits each, 4 fingers and a thumb, with white claws, and the black and red striped fur of their neck and cheeks bristles strongly, their nose having turned red, their eyes green, and their mouth is now filled with razor-sharp teeth.
While they might not outwardly have the appearance of strong Fire-type Pokemon, aside from the fur coloration at birth and the skewed gender ratio of 8-to-1 in favor of males, the members of the Litten family do have the ability to breathe fire, though the manner in which they do so is a little bit abnormal.
Although these cats do possess a combustion organ attached to their stomach, they do not naturally excrete the chemicals needed to produce a flame within their bodies. Their fur, on the other hand, does. In order to keep their fur clean without having to groom it on a near constant basis, these cats naturally excrete oils to help to keep dust and dirt from sticking to their fur, but as a consequence of their molecular structure, they are also incredibly flammable. As these creatures groom themselves little by little, they end up swallowing some of the hair, and over time the hair collects in their combustion chamber, and the oil collects to produce a steady supply of flammable material. With their combustion organs full, these creatures can then initiate a chemical reaction in the chamber with the oil to set it alight, allowing them to spit out fiery hairballs and a makeshift ember attack whose overall power depends on how much hair is actually vomited up and the way Litten cough it up. While the combustion organ in Litten is attached to their stomach, for reasons that is still uncertain, it moves to a place outside their body when they evolve into Torracat, hanging around their necks like a glowing bell. The flame sac is directly connected to the brains of Torracat and responds directly to their mood. When they are placid, the bell remains unlit, but the moment their temper spikes and they feel angry or ready for a scuffle, the bell will ignite and start to produce a bright flame which these beasts can then use to either deliver attacks from afar or infuse into their mouth to increase the power of their Fire Fang attack that they learned shortly before evolving from Litten. When they are extremely agitated or excited, the bell will even produce a ringing sound as the temperature of the flame inside of it increases over time. This can make them a bit of a fire hazard to some, but they're usually quite good about keeping the flame from going overboard and spewing embers everywhere.
Evolution into Incineroar robs these creatures of a significant amount of speed, but in return, their offenses and especially their defenses are increased significantly as a result of the massive muscle that now covers the humanoid frame.
Like Torracat, these creatures possess a flame sac that is attached to their body externally, and in this case, it resembles a belt that these beasts wear around their waist. As the fighting spirit of these creatures increases, the flames they normally produce sputter and burst from the sac hanging at the navel region intensely, shot from it in a brilliant display of power when used with moves like Flamethrower. Not surprisingly, this sac is referred to as a flame belt due to its resemblance to a wrestling championship belt. It would not be abnormal to even see one of these beasts in the ring. Instead of just relying on their fire-type powers and claws to attack, these brutish cats will use fierce punching and kicking attacks to beat down and ravage their opponents before finishing them off with their flame belt, oftentimes taking great pleasure in beating their targets senseless. As far as their abilities go, much as with many other starter Pokemon, these creatures are so attuned to their natural fire-type powers that they normally have access to Blaze as their only base ability, but those that have an incredible fierceness to them and are able to scare others just by glaring at them can also have Intimidate as a hidden ability. And looking at their stats in the case of Incineroar, it can further be seen that, while they might not be that fast compared to even Torracat, and show no increase in their capacity to wield special attacks as well in evolution, they more than make up for this with much larger, bulkier forms that can both hit hard up close and take a serious beating from offenses of all types, the base special attack and speed sets being the only ones that are not above average for fully evolved Fire and Dark type Pokemon. rendering them impressive performers that can take quite the licking and oftentimes come right back for more. Even though the fire-type attributes can make them a bit harder to handle than other felines, Litten know how to clean up after themselves, as whenever these creatures start to shed their fur, which happens twice a year, instead of letting it simply fall off over time, these creatures will lick themselves harshly and quickly after vomiting up a bit of the juices that normally ignite the oils, in turn setting their entire body on fire so the old hair burns up at the same time in a glorious blaze. Litten are decently powerful creatures and definitely have what it takes to make a good starter Pokemon, but some beginning trainers might have a little bit of a problem bonding with them as first as a result of their mannerisms. These cats can often prove to be quite passionate in battle, but they are almost always logical in their movements and actions, remaining cool-headed and preferring not to show emotion unless absolutely necessary. However, they also tend to be independent loners and rarely ever fight well with other Pokemon, so they can be very difficult to bond with and earn their trust. They may even refuse to fight, though they can usually be coaxed into doing so as they hate to lose and enjoy battling to prove that they are the top cat in their territory. Trainers that are looking to bond with these cats have to be patient and let them come to them first, as if you try to go to them or choose them as your starter, otherwise try too hard to get close to them, they are unlikely to listen and may spit fire in your face just to prove how little they respect you, even if you have managed to get close to them and just want to show your affection towards them. In addition to their flame sac, Torracat are also different from their pre-evolved form, in that the thick mane that has grown near their heads actually contains many sensitive hairs that are connected to a special extrasensory organ at the base of their brains. Using these hairs, Torracat can detect subtle movements and air currents around them and track the movements of opponents, making it easy for them to track down the target even in the dark or if they are hiding. The mane further serves as an indication of the overall physical and mental health, as it will stand on end when they are in a good mood and lay down flat when they are not feeling well. Lastly is note that the forelegs of these beasts are incredibly strong for a creature of their size. In fact, they can actually swipe down a target with such force that it can bend iron bars in a single blow and even knock down grown men in an instant, making them more than worth fearing in battle. Unfortunately, much like Litten, Torracat can be a bit on the hard side for beginning trainers to control, but in their case it comes down to more of an issue with rambunctiousness than it does disobedience. Torracat are fierce fighters and have a great love for battle, oftentimes attacking their opponents relentlessly to the point where the opposition loses the will to fight. This behavior might seem nice from a battle perspective, but in truth it can make them hard to control, as they will attack even weakened opponents with little care and will not pay heed to injuries they may have caused or take responsibility for them. Thankfully, this behavior is generally not the result of true malice, as these creatures will oftentimes show a softer side to their trainers and those they have built up a relationship of trust with, sometimes even acting like a spoiled child if they see something they want but cannot get on their own.
Aside from having potent fire-type powers, the unique movements that Incineroar utilizes in battle have actually been the inspiration for some wrestling moves and techniques, and they in particular possess two special moves that only they are capable of actually learning naturally under normal conditions.
Both of these moves tie into their new Dark-type powers, which are believed to be at least a partial reflection of their malicious fighting style and lack of remorse for most opponents. The first attack, which they learn immediately after evolving, is the Darkest Lariat attack, which involves these beasts charging their entire bodies with anti-positive energy before spinning on their feet with both arms and massive paws outstretched, slamming into the target with incredible force and knocking them flat onto the ground. Aside from dealing a considerable amount of damage, the manner in which the attack is executed allows Incineroar to use this move to do damage with no regards paid to changes in the stats of the target, making it a perfect move for breaking through opponents that have tried to raise their defensive stats to protect themselves from harm. This attack can even be used as the base for the second move, Incineroar's signature Z move, the Malicious Moonsault, which is capable of dealing immense Dark-type damage to any opponent that gets caught in it. With that said, though, Incineroar are incredibly hard for many trainers to handle, and more than demonstrate the heelish behavior that they are named after in battle. These beasts naturally have a violent and selfish disposition, and if they don't feel like fighting, they will egotistically ignore their trainers with complete nonchalance. If pushed, they may even take it upon themselves to beat the living tar out of their own trainers if they find them to be too annoying. Despite this, however, Incineroar have often been seen to be highly affected by how onlookers view them in battle, for if the crowd watching them battle is pumped up, Incineroar's fighting spirit will burn even brighter than normal, and their attacks will become more powerful. On the other hand, if the crowd is bored or otherwise lackluster, it can make these creatures perform badly, feeling that they are no longer of any importance to others. Furthermore, if these beasts receive signs of admiration from young Pokemon and children, while they might do their best to keep up a cold attitude on the outside, on the inside in their very heart, these beasts become immensely happy, and will do what they can to make their performance in combat something worth further admiration. They will even lose the desire to fight if they are put up against a weak or injured opponent, finding such a beatdown boring, and while this can be taken advantage of to get the drop on them, Incineroar rarely take this well and will fight with greater motivation against stronger opponents until the opposition that tricked them can no longer fight at all in retaliation, dead or alive.
This is definitely one family that changes plenty as they grow and develop, but I can't knock the final result once you've seen what these big cats can really do. Litten are definitely among the cutest of cats for their adorable faces and gorgeous coloration, and while they might seem just like any other black cat, they've got some literal firepower to help make them stand out. Of course, copping out flaming hairballs might not be everyone's cup of tea, but we can't always have what we want. Torracat live as just bigger versions of their pre-evolved form for the most part, but there's no need to fix something if there's nothing wrong with that, right? Besides the big frames, the cute little bill-like organ on the neck is really pretty and definitely brings quite a bit of charm to them. Of course, once they finally manage to fully evolve into Incineroar, these cats will get really big and more than ready to lay the smackdown on anything that dares to challenge them in and out of the ring. These humanoid beasts might look tough and difficult to tackle, because they are, and their lowest speed will likely matter little when they start tossing around and showing why fighting types aren't the only beasts that can really throw down in battle.
Cute as a button at birth and roaring with ferocity as adults, the members of the Litten family are robust and powerful beasts that can more than strike fear into those that can't overcome the action-packed moves. They might seem to be at a disadvantage to the many fire types they're likely to tangle with, but you would be wise to never underestimate what these massive felines can accomplish within a squared circle.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that they still get plenty of attention from others if you want them to succeed, as even the best of fighters can't give their best performance if the crowd won't tell them they're doing their job right.
Thank you all for watching this video. It always brings me great joy to see others enjoying the work I do to try and make the world of Pokemon and the fascinating creatures that lay inside of it feel as real as they possibly can. If you really enjoy my work, please feel free to leave a comment and subscribe, as I always do my best to respond to any and all comments that are left on my videos. In addition, if you wish to learn more about my work and help support it, you can find links to my Patreon page, as well as email and other contact information to my work on DeviantArt in the video description down below. Furthermore, you can find a link to my Discord server there as well if you'd like to get a first glimpse at what videos are coming up next and converse with other fans of the world of Pokemon. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and have a wonderful rest of your day.